What's up, guys? Rich here, back with another episode of the Cosmic I Ching. Here we find ourselves halfway through. We're halfway through the series with Hexagram 32, duration. Duration, which is thunder over wind. Judgment, success, no blame. Perseverance furthers. It furthers one to have somewhere to go. In this hexagram, the sage describes the way the cosmos achieves the constant evolution of its consciousness and creates enduring conditions through transformation. Duration also characterizes the cosmic principles, the underlying immutable laws that govern the movement of all things within the cosmic reality, which, by the way, are in fact the 64 hexagrams of the I Ching. Those are the 64 cosmic principles. These are the preeminent laws that supersede all human-made laws. The cosmic principles are to the sphere of cosmic consciousness what the laws of physics are to the world of form. You know, I always have called the I Ching the physics of consciousness. This is monumental stuff we're talking about here. Together, they ensure the duration of the cosmic whole. The cosmic principles and the laws of physics are held together through the principle of attraction. They are like the two axles of a big cart, the cart being a metaphor for the cosmic reality that endures as it moves through time and space. The energy that makes it move is created by the attraction between the cosmic consciousness and the world of form, or nature, as the two complementary sides of the cosmic whole. This principle is duplicated in the relationship between the psyche and the body. As above, so below. The wholeness of the personality is ensured by the natural attraction between them. This natural attraction becomes disturbed when the personality is mentally divided into parts, with one part being elevated over another. Since duration is a characteristic of the nature of the cosmos, every aspect that is in harmony with it participates in its duration. This is why returning to one's true nature, which is synonymous with returning to unity of the cosmos, is the overall theme of the I Ching. This return is achieved through a step-by-step process in which the individual rids himself of all mistaken ideas and beliefs that keep him in the parallel reality created by the collective ego. The individual attains duration not through an effort to cultivate virtues and become anything, but through freeing his true and original nature from the inner prison of his mistaken ideas and beliefs. Unlike the cosmic reality, the parallel reality created by the collective ego does not endure because it is based on mistaken ideas and beliefs about the cosmic way. When a person, through holding to such mistaken ideas and beliefs, violates the cosmic harmony, the cosmos responds with fate. Fate is part of the laws of physics and has the purposes of restoring the cosmic harmony and of helping a person return to unity with the cosmos. So it's actually good for us. It does so by decreasing the ego in him, thus bringing him back to humility. The parallel reality is characterized by changes rather than transformations. These changes are brought about by the use of power on the part of humans and the cosmic response to it in the form of fate. Here we go. Among the main mistaken ideas and beliefs that create the parallel reality are the assumptions that 1, humans are at the center of the universe. 2, changes are the rule of life. 3, nature operates through opposite forces to propel changes. It doesn't, it's complementary forces. 4, time is linear, having a beginning and an end. 5, the universe works on mechanical principles. It doesn't, the cosmos is primarily a feeling consciousness. And 6, the cosmos has a hierarchical order. It doesn't, everything and everyone in the cosmos is equal. And the idea of hierarchy only exists in the human mind. All of these ideas create discordant fields of consciousness which compete with the cosmic order and its principles of harmony. They separate humans from the cosmic unity. When fate is not recognized as help from the cosmos to make a person aware of his mistaken ideas and beliefs, but is taken as cosmic punishment, the blame he puts on the cosmos creates a new fate, thus perpetuating his misfortune. The human longing for duration comes from a feeling memory imprinted within each individual, reminding him of his original unity with the cosmos, which has been lost. This memory resides in every body cell and is what the I Ching calls a person's inner truth. The judgment, it furthers one to have somewhere to go, is to make him aware that the possibility of restoring that unity is always present. The collective ego's answer to this longing for duration is emphasis on and mania for attaining bodily longevity and immortality through leaving behind works that bear one's name or through acquiring fame. The pursuit of physical longevity as leading to immortality has persisted from the time of religious Taoism and various ancient practices, such as specific kinds of yoga, all the way to our own time. Today's medicine and health fads, while not concerned with immortality, at least not all of them, I suppose, are similarly preoccupied with maintaining the body to great old age at all costs. A person often receives this hexagram when his situation lacks duration. This is because he holds a human-centered view of the universe and any of the mistaken ideas or beliefs mentioned above. He also may not recognize that all good things that come to him are gifts from the cosmos through its helpers. His lack of duration is reflected in his attachment to and identification with all the things he possesses. Such a person can be heard to say, I made that money, invention, achievement, etc. myself. Disregarding the true source of his gifts creates a fate that subsequently robs him of them. One type of spell connected with this hexagram has to do with issues of time. Phrases that imply always or never in regard to how long something takes create these spells. Examples are, quote, this is going to take forever, and I will never get there. Another type of spell is created by generalizations such as the whole world is against me, or changes are the rule of life. Line 1, seeking duration too hastily brings misfortune persistently. Nothing that would further. This line can point to a misuse of the I Ching as a book of divination to foretell the future. Divination assumes that good fortune and misfortune come from without and are pre-written as if in a cosmic book. The future, however, is not pre-written, but is shaped by every thought and attitude and can be reshaped by correcting our thoughts and attitudes. The purpose of the I Ching is to show a person whether his thoughts, attitudes, and actions are in harmony with the cosmic way and thus leads to success and good fortune, or whether they are not, creating misfortune for him. If the latter is the case, the hexagrams and lines show him the nature of his mistaken idea or belief so that he can rid himself of them. Another mistaken idea addressed by this line is that humans have rights to possess things independently of their attitude towards their possessions. From the cosmic standpoint, no such rights exist. When we are in harmony with the cosmos, everything we need comes as a free gift. Obtaining what the ego desires by force or contrivance of any sort is to possess something unlawfully from the cosmic standpoint. Such possession, be it of a material or immaterial nature, is invariably accompanied by a fate that prevents its duration. A person may also receive this line when he seeks to make something endure through outer means or through attraction between two egos. An example is a marriage based on deals that have been made in lieu of a true interconnection between the partners. This line may also be received by a person who has developed an ego attachment to gifts he has received from the cosmos and therefore is faced with the threat of losing them. It is the law of fate that a person will lose what the ego is attached to having. This line may be counseling him to review his attitude toward what he possesses. The ego's view of possessions, that we are entitled or deserve to have them, or have the right to do anything we want with them, or to use them in a boastful way to put ourselves up above others, is the root cause of losing what we possess. Other attitudes, such as suspicion that the cosmos might arbitrarily take our possessions away from us, likewise can create a fate that brings about their loss. To have a correct attitude means ridding oneself of all such pretensions and distrust. Line 2, remorse disappears. Receiving this line calls a person to address an ego element in himself that falsely compares his inner effort to free his true self with work, along with all its negative connotations, in order to discourage him from even starting. It uses phrases that describe this effort either as too easy and therefore ineffective, or too difficult, or impossible, or dangerous. Such phrases obscure the help that is attained from the sage and the helper simply by asking for it. Remorse refers to the obstructed feelings he has from not having begun the maturation of his true self that would bring about duration. This remorse disappears when he rids himself of the false phrases in his program. Examples of such phrases are, this is an impossible task. It's too hard. One needs the strength of a saint. It is not meant to be. No human could do this. I cannot do inner work. What if it doesn't work for me? It can't be that easy because everything worthwhile is hard. How can it last? The helpers would never bother with me. What right do I have to bother them? My small affairs are of no concern to the cosmos. This is stupid. How can such things work, implying everything is merely random chance, which is not? There must be a hook attached. This is devil's work, implying it is supernatural. This will keep you from doing the real work. What will people think or say? This will drive you crazy. I'm too old, or I'm too set in my ways. So many things. Oh man, that ego, it's very, very deceitful. Huh? This line also concerns the feeling of helplessness that a person can have about identifying root phrases hidden in his subconscious. He does not realize that the phrase, "the task is impossible," is blocking the sage from helping him. If he says the inner no to this phrase, the sage will be free to come to his aid. All of the above phrases are keys to spells that lock a person in the pattern of changes discussed in the main text of this hexagram. They're like guardians of the realm of changes, assigned by the ego to keep its false program installed in his psyche and to prevent him from freeing his true self. Remorse disappears refers to a person's making a firm inner decision to follow the way of the sage and to begin the effort to free his true self. Until that decision has been made, he is afflicted again and again with remorse that comes from his true self, crying out to be liberated. Line 3, he who does not give duration to his character meets with disgrace, persistent humiliation. A person receives this line when, in his search to bring his life into harmony, duration, he has followed solutions that have led him astray. He has either followed solutions proposed by others, conventional beliefs, etc., or listened to his rational mind rather than to his inner truth. Such solutions range from trying to achieve things by external force to following spiritual beliefs that promise duration. He may, for example, be relying on keeping his hopes up or trying hard to have faith. However, because faith and hope do not resolve in an enduring way, underlying doubts and fears, he is only kept in a vicious cycle that runs from hope to fear and doubt and back to hope, thus creating persistent humiliation in the form of frustration. Once caught in this cycle, he needs to recognize that the duration he seeks will begin when he stops looking for solutions from external sources. He then needs to ask the sage to help free him from his inner fears and doubts. What remains will be his inner truth that has duration. No addition or artificial alteration is necessary. The problem with faith is that it is based on the hope that something might be true. The person hopes that if his conviction is strong enough, the thing hoped for will happen. The entire process is mental and not comparable to the trust a person develops from having experienced the verification of his inner truth. Because faith is a purely mental concept, it is inseparably bound to the very doubt and fear that the person hopes to conquer. The helper that is imprisoned by the spell created by reliance on faith is the helper that frees one from doubts and fears. It is a member of one's inner army. A person may also receive this line when he has made a decision and then has begun to doubt whether it was correct or whether it will cause future problems. His doubt becomes the hole through which harm or resistance enters, because it is conveyed on the inner plane to others. This line counsels the person to ask the sage whether his decision was correct, and if so, he needs to remove the doubt through saying the inner no to it. For so long as doubt is there, he will receive persistent and humiliating resistance. Line 4, no game in the field. No game in the field in this line is a metaphor for either an apparent or real misfortune. It can refer to a person who sees misfortune where there is none. For example, he has lost his job and sees it as a misfortune, whereas the loss is really the end of a fate created by a false sense of loyalty, which has held him in an unsuitable position. Or the job loss may have been necessary for him to connect with elements in himself, such as his inner truth that have been left behind or buried by wrong ideas. The new situation gives him the opportunity to rid himself of the rigid ideas that have been preventing him from fulfilling his destiny. No game in the field can also refer to a person who, in seeking the cause of a real misfortune, is looking outside in the field rather than inside himself, where the true cause lies. Here, the game may be a projection, spell, or poison arrow that has been put on him, either by himself or another, or certain mistaken ideas he has adopted. He needs to identify them with the help of the sage and the RTCM and deprogram them. By looking outside of himself for the cause of his misfortune, he has blocked the helper that ends fate. This line can also point to a particular spell that has created a fate, a misfortune. It is composed of three components: the phrase, man is man's worst enemy, the self-image of a hero who fights evil, and a third party which has been defined as an enemy or as evil. The person has been unsuccessful in trying to overcome his fate, his misfortune, through fighting something or someone he assumes to be the cause of his misfortune. He needs to be aware that his fate can only be extinguished through ridding himself of the spell that has caused it. Line 5, giving duration to one's character through perseverance. This is good fortune for a woman, misfortune for a man. The traditional interpretation of this line spells out a woman's role in regard to her husband, which dictates that the woman ought to hold to tradition, that is, to her husband as a lifelong companion and to her place inside the house. The man likewise is ordered by this tradition to hold to what his duty requires of him at the moment, or to what is required of him by the outer world. While these ideas have no correspondence to cosmic truth, they help the person find the seed phrases in his inner program that create a spell blocking certain helpers. This spell results from defining men and women as having different capabilities and responsibilities. From this superficial observation, it is deduced that their social roles are inherently different. Such fixing in roles prevents them from finding their uniqueness and fulfilling their destinies. A person may also receive this line when he feels guilty that he has not done enough to develop his higher nature. Giving duration to one's character through perseverance incorrectly suggests that through trying to become something, such as patient, loyal, or kind, we will develop our higher nature. The sage teaches that our true nature must not be divided into higher and lower parts because it is complete and enduring in itself, even though suppressed. The perseverance that is truly needed is the resolve to free ourselves from the mistaken idea that human nature is divided and that in and of ourselves we lack virtues such as loyalty, patience, and kindness already. The collective ego would have us believe we lack them in order to dismiss our cosmic virtues, such as loyalty to our inner truth, and thereby bind them to its institutions and values. In addition to taking away these mistaken ideas, the person also needs to free himself of the idea of guilt. This line can also indicate that a person is blaming himself for having gone against his true nature. He believes that he has become guilty and does not know how to relate to it. Receiving this line wants to make him aware that guilt has no place in the cosmic reality and that he needs to understand the true meaning of blame. Blame is a true feeling that comes from having gone against one's true nature and has the function of making the person aware of this fact. When he acknowledges it as a true feeling, which is also a helper, this helper attracts the cosmic helper of reflection. Thus, he gets the help to reflect on the cause of his mistake and has the possibility to correct himself. This will free him from his feelings of blame. Line 6, restlessness as an enduring condition brings misfortune. This line addresses the restlessness caused by a spell. Behind the spell that drives a person to impulsive actions is a hidden phrase that needs to be discovered and disposed of. An example is the phrase, "You must act, otherwise nothing will happen." This phrase is an imp that is blocking the person's access to his inner truth. Its deeper root is the mistaken idea that humans are at the center of the universe and therefore responsible for making everything work. Such a person is not conscious of the presence of the invisible world with its myriad helpers, and therefore constantly creates fates. Several false attitudes are caused by this mindset. One is that of the person who regards problems as matters of engineering, with the solution being to replace one component with another, or re-engineering the way things interface. Another is of the person who attempts to overpower the problem by throwing money at it, or withdrawing money from it, or through the use of leverage or power. Another attitude is that of the person who is willing to be the instrument of power and sacrifices life, if necessary, to solve the problem. In view of the fact that the real problems in life have their roots in the psyche, as programs that are not in harmony with the cosmic way, the problems cannot be resolved by any such means. They can only be solved by the individual's ridding himself of the idea that humans are at the center of the universe, and that it is their job to do it all. When this idea is deprogrammed, the support for the imp of restlessness and its related imps is removed. The helper blocked by this idea is the helper of inner truth. All right, thanks a lot, guys. We're coming along nicely with this series. Hope you guys are enjoying it. See you in the next one.